Careers have become this crazy thing. It's like you have a crisis of meaning even trying to imagine what you're going to do. Now, like 100,000 years ago, there was maybe like 5 to 10 job roles. A hunter, a gatherer, a toolmaker, a firekeeper, a shaman elder, and whatever else they did back then. And what's interesting is, when you did those jobs, if you failed at them, people fucking noticed. And if you succeeded, people noticed. And you knew exactly what you were doing and what problem you were solving and why. Like, it's pretty obvious to connect hunter going out, bringing meat back to the camp to you have fed the tribe. And it's pretty obvious whether you succeed or fail at that. You either come back with a deer on your back or you don't. So people knew what they were doing and they knew why they were doing it. There were no CVs, no identity crisis. Contribution was just obvious. And then we fast forward to the Middle Ages and there was maybe like 30 to 60 job roles. It's funny actually, your surname was usually actually the job role that you did. So you'd have like, I don't know, Ben Smith, Ben Baker, Ben Miller. Maybe this is where all these surnames that have just been around for so long have come from. I don't know. And what's interesting back then is most people never changed careers ever. No one was having a crisis at like 35 thinking, what the hell do I do with my life? It's like, no, you're a baker, go and bake. So people had less choice, but they had so much more certainty still. Not as much as hunter-gatherers, but they still had a lot of certainty. They knew what they were doing. What am I had a clear answer, even if life was harder back then, which I'm sure that it was, because we were getting attacked all the time from rival kings and trebuchets. I love a trebuchet. And then from the Industrial Revolution, this is where jobs started to like detach from meaning. Because in medieval time, you were a baker, you made bread. It's pretty obvious what you do, right? And in the Industrial Revolution, that's when that started to sort of pull apart. And obviously this is from industrialization. Like one factory could potentially replace like, I don't know, 50 other factory jobs from before. So there'd be one person doing the role of 50. Mass displacement. But this is where we had things like a worker might be spending 12 hours a day just tightening the same bolt or something. So it was the first time in history where effort didn't have some obvious visible outcome. So obviously that's where the I don't know why I do this started to become a thing for the first time in history. So your pay improved, but your meaning just declined. Survival became a little easier, but life just got messier. Like, what am I? I'm a bolt tightener. Why? For who? It is, you know what I mean? It's ludicrous. But we haven't even got to the truly ludicrous bit yet. Now, in the modern age, we literally have careers about careers. Like job listings now are in the thousands, if not tens of thousands. Try and name every single job there is. I guarantee if you took a pen and paper and just did it off the top of your head just from going through life, you'd probably be able to write down, I really don't know. That'd be an interesting thing to try and do at some point. I will try. You could write down a lot. I'm sure you can understand that, right? And so many of those jobs didn't exist 10, 15 years ago. So there are entire careers and jobs now that exist just to coordinate other jobs. The hierarchy of insanity, corporate, whatever. So we're not just far from the outcome anymore. A lot of the time we're far away from the problem we're actually trying to solve. And we don't even know what we are doing or why. I remember I had this job at a company called Fire, and I just used to have to put in data. I was a data analyst, some person thing, doesn't matter. It was shit. I just have to type in data from like people who had bought through the company. I'd have to put it somewhere else. And I had no fucking clue why. I was like, you've got the information there. Why does it need to go into this Excel spreadsheet? And why do I need to sort it in this way? I didn't care enough to ask why back then. I'm sure there was a reason, but I'm sure I would have found that reason meaningless either way. So work's become insanely abstract. There's only meaning left in like certain roles, which obviously everyone can't do. And what do you think fills that gap of meaninglessness? anxiety, depression, existential crisis, you name it, it's filling the gap. So let's think about some high meaning, low money jobs now. So when I'm looking for a career, I think about three things: money, autonomy, and meaning, because there is still meaning in some jobs. And it's so difficult to get them all in one, which is something I want to talk about later. But first, let's just think about some high meaning, low money careers. So you got like teaching. I'm sure it's not amazing, but you get to speak to children and potentially make a difference in their lives, especially if there's like troublemakers and you sort them out, set them on the straight and narrow, all of that. That's meaning. But the money isn't great. And you got like care workers, youth workers, all the things where it's like person on person. So you have a person, you have a career of some kind, and you're helping that person. And that's meaningful because you can directly see the output of your effort reflected in the world, which creates meaning. But the problem with the meaning jobs is meaning doesn't pay the fucking rent. So let's look at some jobs with high money and low meaning. So we can have no meaning, but the rent's paid. You've got like certain finance roles, obviously, where you're so detached from it all. Like corporate middle management, the classic, just meaningless jobs to look after other jobs, in some giant corporation. You've no fucking clue what anything does or what you're doing or why, but you get paid a lot. And then there's like some tech roles where people are doing systems that no one has a fucking clue because no one understands them anyway. And the list goes on with that as well. And with that, you get financial safety, but very low meaning. I've got sore throat me or something. Let's carry on. Where was that? Yeah, to the point that people actually numb themselves just to get through the day. I know this because I've done it, and it's obvious anyway. We've all seen Wolf of Wall Street, although I think he had a bit more meaning than us. He didn't really give a shit, did he? He was a legend. Or was he a tosser? Who knows? He was rich as fuck. So there's this massive mismatch, because we expect one job now to give us meaning, money, autonomy, identity, status, and social connection all in one neat little package. We're not asking much, are we? But historically, these all came from other areas of life. Everything wasn't tied up in your career. But we just like took everything and just collapsed it into a career role. And then we wonder why it's cracked and it doesn't fucking work anymore, really. So this is my opinion on it. I think that a career should not be your identity anymore. Because you can do it if you want. It's incredibly hard. There are some jobs that fulfill all of those points, but it's going to be hard. You're going to have to work very, very hard to do that. And good on you if you do. But what I'd rather do is take autonomy and money to a point. I'm no longer obsessed with making millions. That doesn't matter, in my opinion. I want to take autonomy and money, the ability to move around, and just ensure you've always got some money, some decent money. I don't know, like $5,000 a month would be fine. If you can sort of choose when and where you work, obviously you're going to have to do some fucking work. But you know what I mean? You've got a bit of say in what you do. Maybe like a self-employed building surveyor. That was something I was looking at. That's what I now want from a career, because trying to find them all, I don't want to say it's impossible because I don't believe anything is impossible. It's just so hard that I think we could spend so much time thinking about what career would fill that, and then going for it, we could do nothing. And then when you do nothing, you end up being good at nothing and you have no income. I also think competence, people don't talk about that one very much, is a big thing. And jobs that end, like not literally, but the task ends. Like it's a closed loop when you go home. Like to go back to the building surveyor, you got to be competent to do that. When you go to survey a house or whatever it may be, you know what you're doing. You're surveying the house, you're writing a report, you're delivering it to the people that need it. That's done then. You don't have to think, oh shit, what's this? Blah, 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 blah. Is this client? Who's happening over there? What? You're not sat on your sofa at night going, fuck, what's going on here? Help. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? I'm sure you've all had those thoughts. I couldn't articulate them very well. You know what you do when you go and do it, you come out. And then meaning, for me now, this is my plan. I'm not saying I'm becoming a building surveyor, although I might. It sounds all right. Is to get a job like that, a career like that, and keep doing the YouTube. That's fine. That's like, what's that? I'm sort of using it, to be honest, just as fucking therapy at the moment. It's good therapy, ranting out of screen. It's also got some meaning in it, actually, because I get to voice my opinions and receive feedback in the future. I want to actually get some views and shit. So yeah, there's some meaning there, which brings me on to my next point. You need to find meaning elsewhere now, I think. I reckon you can get money and autonomy if you work hard and smash a certain path. And if you can't do that, then you're going to have to choose between autonomy and money. Or you can just go straight for meaning and just stretch your money further. I just don't think that massive list you can get in one. Not many in one anymore. I'm trying to think of some job roles that have all of those baked in. And you know what I'm thinking of? The President of the United States. So let's all go and become the president, because I'm pretty sure he's got all them TikTok identity, status, blah, 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 blah. I think he's got them all. However you may find him, whatever. Or the Prime Minister of the UK. So I'm looking for meaning elsewhere. Do my job, go and do it. Competence. Effort is rewarded. Good, great. Now what do I want to get back? This is where you find your own meaning. Like I'm learning to play guitar again. It's something I used to do as a kid. I'm not doing it for anyone but me. I'm sat there strumming, singing on my own. I have no plans to be a rock star or anything like that. I'm just doing it because I want to do it, because I love music, and I forgot about the guitar for a long time whilst I was an alcoholic, and now I've remembered it, and it makes me feel great playing it. You can do things just for the sake of doing them. It doesn't have to be an outcome attached to them. That's meaning. And yeah, maybe I'll probably show my friends and shit. But anyway, that's one item of meaning personally for me. Maybe have a think of one for yourself that you do. What would you do if no one was looking? Like if no one knew you were ever doing it, they would never find out. There's no monetization, no audience, no metrics except for the ones that you set yourself. What would you still do? Let me know in the comments. Because it's almost like doing things now just for the sake of doing them with no insane productivity optimization feels illegal or something. Like, why am I not writing this down? Why am I not filming this? Why haven't I got a million metrics I'm tracking? Why aren't I optimizing this to the absolute maximum level so I can become the best guitarist on the planet and then go and become the next fucking Jimi Hendrix? No, find something that you don't need that for, in my opinion, because that's how humans actually work. So the ultimate goal, I think, in finding a career is finding a career that funds life, gives you a bit of free time if you want it, and maybe you can find meaning in there somewhere through the cracks. But ultimately, it's find a career that funds life and then go and make a life that's worth living for. Let me know what you think in the comments. Peace. This was an absolute fucking rant. We travelled across the ages. We went fucking everywhere. I probably babbled a lot, and I don't care. Because this, even though there are metrics, is a meaning task for me now. And it feels great. Peace. Let me know in the comments what you think. Or don't. Who gives a fuck? Download the video. Peace.